All right, guys, let's go ahead and get this next panel started with Dan Green and Eric Stuart. But before we do that, I need all of you guys to stand up. All of you guys to stand up. All of y'all have to stand up. So when I say it's time to, I want you guys to say duel, okay? It's time to duel! Guys, that's pretty weak. I need it louder. 1, 2, 3, it's time to duel! There we go. Let's go ahead and give a round of applause to Eric Stuart and Dan Green.
Woo!
You're looking good, Caleb.
Thanks, Steve. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Woo!
All right.
Let's go ahead and get right into it.
Into it.
Because of where the schedule is kind of wonky right now.
What? Things are disorganized?
So there was a schedule.
Yeah, but we're gonna have to speed run it because these guys need to get back to their booths and sign more of your fan items.
Yeah. But
So-
we're going to fully enjoy our time together for the moment.
And we'll leave a little bit of time for questions because I know some of you guys do have questions. So, Eric and Dan, how are things going?
They're good. It's good to see you again, and it's good to be back at Collecticon. You guys having a good time?
All right.
Yeah, so I know that last time we talked, most of you guys don't know, we talked about the Heart of the Cards podcast.
The Heart of the Cards podcast is something that we've been doing for a little over a year now. That's right.
It actually started while we were here last year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a conversation about creativity and inspiration and dealing with what you're doing. Things that we can all relate to. When we talk about creativity, we're not talking only about writing a play or doing a dance or making a sculpture or painting or acting in a show. You create your life every day. We all create every day. And we deal with the hand we're dealt. We know that phrase, right?
Yeah, something about cards?
I think so. More than cards we just signed. So, The Heart of the Cards is a podcast, drops every Tuesday. You can find it at Andromeda Productions on YouTube. We also are available on Spotify and other podcast providers. But, you know, if you want to hear us talk about things that anybody can relate to. Has anybody ever heard the hero's journey? Anybody ever hear that, hero's journey? Yeah. So our first several episodes use that as a way to talk about these things that we all encounter. Like one of the first things is called the call to adventure. You might guess what that means. It's like what inspires you to pursue a certain path. There's also a part that talks about the trials, the difficulties, getting from here to there. Or those moments where you feel that you're at the height of your powers and you are doing awesome. Don't be shy. We all feel that way from time to time. But anyway, that's just part of the conversation we're having. We also have guests like Veronica Taylor, Erica Schroeder, Darren Dunstan. So he's actually dropping his part 2 episode next week. So anyway, join the conversation. It's a good one.
Yeah, and so I know a lot of you guys know us as rivals, we butt heads while we're and the characters we play. But Dan and I are actually really good friends, and so a lot of times you guys will ask us, how did you get into the business? I'm interested in creative things, what should I do? And what Dan and I do is we talk about life and our own journeys in creativity.
We don't presume to know better.
And you might find that, I only thought you could get there in this one path. And you hear my version of how I got to where I am. You hear his version, you're like, wow, those two guys are both guys I know as voice actors, but their journey was completely different. So that might give you some guidance of, maybe I can do this. And in our conversations, one of my big things is my least 2 favorite words in your pursuit in life are what if, okay? And not to try to be some sort of motivational speaker, but honestly, I'm an old man, so I'm gonna give you some wisdom. Is that in your journey of life, the worst 2 things you could say at the end are, what if I had done this thing, or I had tried that other thing? Because the worst thing that can happen is, you just gotta go back to the other thing you're doing, right? Take a step out of that safety zone and just pursue it. That is the difference between those that either succeeded in their passions or don't, is that they got up to try. And it's not about making the money, doing your love. Someone was saying to me the other day, I'm trying to figure out what creative thing I could do that also I can make money doing. And I said, well, how about this? How about look at all the things that you do that are creative, and decide what's the thing that is your soul. That it doesn't matter whether you make money doing it, but you just have to do it because it fulfills something in you. And say, don't put the pressure on the money for that. And pick something else that might be the thing that could be your job.
Like hijacking cars. Well, maybe not.
Hey. But yeah, it's like, I'm a musician in my soul. My job is voice acting. I love it. It's a passion. But I don't put the pressure on my music. So if you listen to what we talk about and the people that we have on, maybe that will give you some sort of inspiration. Maybe it will also give you some sort of, reality to what this is. You will hear people tell you there are too many actors, there are too many writers, there are too many artists. It's too competitive, don't even try it. But if everyone listened to that advice, we would have no actors and artists and writers.
Yeah.
Because everyone would be so intimidated by it. So anyway, that's what we talk about. That's what we're doing.
You got a lot of good things to say for an old guy.
Right, and I think you said something pretty interesting right there. So I know in Kansas City, I was talking to Dan Green about the performance of the podcast, how it's doing, is gaining a lot of traction. Dan's like, we just do this for fun, It's
we do.
Oh yeah, we enjoy doing it. I mean, we do have followers. We're getting more. It's building, and we get lots of good feedback. I love it when one of the people who comes up at the table has said, I'm following, and I got this out of the show, or that answer. That's great to hear. But we also, we're getting something out of it too.
And we learn things about it, like, we're friends, and we've been friends for a long, long time.
Yeah.
But even when we bring on, like, someone that is also a mutual friend, we discover new things about them, about their journey,
I mean, if you simply just want some hot goss about us, or any of our, there's a lot of that too.
Yeah, Caleb here has a lot of hot gossip about a lot of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is pretty interesting whenever you guys talk about this stuff because it's always leading with passion first, and then everything else kind of follows suit. So, I mean, oftentimes, like a lot of us young folk, we go do our passions, but then it's like, man, I'm not getting this. When is this going to actually happen?
Sure.
So, what do you guys have to say about that?
Okay. So there's, I think, this misconception when you see somebody who has succeeded at something that you admire, you might walk away with the understanding that, well, they're just great, they got it, they did it, boom. Every success is preceded by series of failures beforehand. You might have heard, failing your way to success. There's truth in that. And it's not like everything we've attempted, we've, done and achieved to the greatest, that we've ever imagined. No. But the true failure is not trying, right? The true failure is giving up. The true failure is not giving yourself a chance to succeed. I know this sounds like motivational BS, but it's actually true,
Yeah.
And you find degrees of success. I've been working on doing these illustrations for the show Crossing the Gods, which we created and I wrote and directed. We have a great cast. We recorded the whole thing years ago, but because I'm doing all the imagery, it's taken me a long time to get there. And just recently, I finally found a way of handling the backgrounds, not even just drawing the main characters, but the backgrounds that I just wasn't satisfied with what I was doing before. It's taken me years, but I am so much happier with what I have now than what I was settling for later, and I'm so glad that I didn't release what I was not so happy with and waited until I got to a better place for a better result, which will be better for you as well.
And probably most of you did not know that Dan was also a very talented graphic artist. I mean, you probably didn't know that, right? So he's hand drawing the series that we're developing. Okay, which stars a lot of the voice actor people that you guys grew up with, people that worked on Pokemon and people who worked on Yu-Gi-Oh! And many other shows, not doing anime. It's an original idea that he wrote. So, yes, he's here, and I'm going to talk about him because I'm very proud of what he's accomplished and what we've accomplished as a team. But he wrote the show, he directed the show, and he's hand drawing the show. You probably wouldn't know that because you might think that we only do the one thing, which is, of course, we're very flattered that you still enjoy our performances as voice actors and the characters we played. I mean, being at these events, it's very humbling that there's a fandom for it. This is not what we signed up for when we decided to follow that passion of acting.
That's right.
So this is a bonus, and we are so happy that we're part of this. But hopefully, you guys will also do your own thing. Like, I find joy in people following their passion. How many people here are artists?
Raise your hand.
Yeah. How about who's a writer? Okay. Does anybody do any music?
There you go.
Right. So here's an interesting thing. You just showed me 3 or 4 production companies that are all here in the same room. If you guys actually spoke to each other, you probably would have things that you had in common, great ideas that you could share. Hey, I'm not a graphic artist, right? Okay, I know how to direct, I know how to do voice acting, but I need somebody that can do that and also understand those things too. So you borrow from each other's, my weakness, his strength. You have teams right here.
That's true.
And we're all in an environment that we love, right? We're all nerdy, geeky guys here. I mean, I'm a gamer geek. I fit it. This is our world.
He's a huge gamer.
I'm a huge gamer geek.
He does it to perfection, like everything else he puts. But also, so, some of you raise your hand about the musician or the artist or what have you. How many people here like watching good storytelling? I do. And you're the other most important part.
Yeah.
We would be nowhere without an audience. You guys might think that we're the special ones here because we have our, we sign things, we have our pictures up. We're nowhere without you guys, right? So it's all a wonderful circle of life, and whatever it is, but it all works together.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's
You guys want to
awesome.
ask us some questions before we go back to our table?
Yeah, so what we'll do is that we have about 10 minutes, less than 10 minutes, where we can actually do Q&As. So what you guys can do is slowly and calmly form a single file line behind the mic.
Slowly.
Very little fist fighting, please.
Exactly.
And feel free to say your name
For
and ask
questions.
That's our next show.
Hey, I got a question for you, Dan Green.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a stupid question, but
I'm a stupid guy. I'm right in line.
all right. I talked to Jason about a month ago, and I forgot to ask Jason this, so I want to ask you instead.
Jason
Griffin.
Okay.
Yeah, Griffin. Yeah, great guy by the way.
So good.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Love that guy.
I wanted to ask, do you remember that time when you sang the national anthem?
Every day.
Do you think maybe you can sing the national anthem for us?
Well, I probably could, but I'd have to ask, which character do you want?
Knuckles, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I won't sing it all right?
All right.
And you gotta join in, okay?
Of course.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light? Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Great.
Oh, right back at you, man.
Hey.
It's great to meet both of you.
Thanks,
you.
buddy.
I just want to ask you guys, does Knuckles have what it takes to defeat Blue Eyes White Dragon?
Crossover, boom, boom, boom.
Maybe not.
Well, as mighty as the Blue Eyes White Dragon is, I wouldn't bet my money on him.
What does Knuckles even use? His knuckles?
No, well, sort of. But his fists are his weapon of choice.
And Master Emerald.
And the Master Emerald doesn't hurt either.
I can't answer that. Yeah.
You got it, buddy.
Hi guys.
Hey, what's
Hello.
up?
Question for both of you regarding Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah.
If you guys could drop,
I've heard of that show. Yeah.
If you guys could drop the F-bomb in one of the lines,
Oh,
which
yeah.
would you pick?
I'll let you go first.
Oh no.
I fly with my blue eyes white dragon.
I'm not sure if that's the F he was looking for.
I'm not cursing from the stage. I work on family-friendly shows. I'm not gonna. Yeah, maybe I'll curse in the car when I'm driving, but not on the stage.
Do that to them.
I am the Pharaoh of 10.
That's an F sound.
That's not an F either. Yeah. Well, I suppose it might be fun to hear a version of the opening of the show where you say, "It's time to effing duel." You know?
Thank you so much.
I don't think the WB would have allowed that. You got it.
Nice shirt.
Hi guys. This one's for Eric.
Hey.
So, seeing that you voiced
Whoa!
Boom!
See,
I said no
I lost
fist
deny.
seeing as you voice multiple characters in Pokemon,
Yeah.
if all of those characters are in the scene together and you have to voice all of them, do you go back and forth with the voices or do you do takes with each character?
That's a really good question. So, with a show like that where we're doing ADR and we're matching lip flaps to the animation we already done in advance, rather than a prelay show where we would record the voices first and the animators would draw to what we were doing. I would dub each character individually. So I would do my James stuff and then my Brock stuff. But there's a great episode, because I'm also Butch from the other team, Team Magma, what they call Butch and Cassidy, right? So there's an argument between Butch, James, and Brock. All right, and I did all three individually. And after that session, I asked the producer, I said, hey, I really think we should change the name of this particular episode to Eric Stuart featuring Pokemon. Oh, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, how you guys doing?
How are you?
I have a question for both of you guys. How fun is it doing like Rick and Morty's like little thing, like that Rick and Morty versus Yu-Gi-Oh, Rick and Morty versus Kaiba? Actually,
Oh, this is a really important thing that you're asking, because this is an example of somebody stealing our voices that was done without consent or compensation, using AI to make us say things we never agreed to say.
Yep.
So I think it absolutely sucks.
Yep.
I don't care about how funny it is. It is ethically inappropriate. It is a threat to creativity, and it is a the offensive thing to do to anybody who makes their living using their creativity and their voice.
Yep. Well said.
thank you very much.
Yeah, because you should not be fooled by what you hear. I would never say the things that they make me say, right?
Right.
You know, we could all get in a lot of trouble for stuff like that. You could get canceled for something that you never even said, right? You guys know me now. You've met me. I even just said I wouldn't even curse from the stage. So you hear things like that are online, you just be like, that's not him.
And I've had people think that I actually did that.
That's right.
I have to correct them.
Yep.
It's scary.
But good question, thank you, and well said, Dan.
No, yeah, first off, AI is going to be the end of us all. We have to end it.
Yeah.
Well, we got to be careful, but
We got to be
yeah.
real careful with that stuff. Outside of all these really nice questions, I actually have a question that goes back to the voice acting. By the way, my name is Jalen. I'm a big fan.
What's
That's
going
good.
on?
That's
Since I
not.
was 5.
Nice.
All right. Is that all?
It's just, you say that voice acting is, you don't do it for the money, you do it for the passion, which is admirable. I respect the hell out of that. But the thing about voice acting is that it's a very unreliable career, at least from what I've been told.
Any artistic path is unreliable as a career.
So I guess my question is, how do you keep the motivation
Yeah.
to keep on going
Yeah.
when it seems like the odds are constantly against you?
Gotcha. Right. You want to do this? You want to do this?
I'll do a quick version.
Yeah.
All right, so what I was saying is music is the thing that is my passion, voice acting is my job, but it's not steady. It's not steady in one category. So anything that involves the voice, I do, right? I do industrial narrations for companies that I do training videos for a big car company that, you know, unless you work for that car company, you're not going to hear them, right? I do audiobooks. I'll do phone prompts like please press 1 to reach an operator. Anything that involves the voice, not just the fun stuff of the cartoons. So it's like the shotgun approach. You're basically like, I just put it out there and hopefully something is I'm gonna hit something, right? It's not a steady gig, but like any gig, if you're working and you're networking and you're trying, there's a chance that you fall into one of these categories that involve the voice that might keep you a little bit busy. Now there's people that have a job and also pursue acting, right? Most of my friends that are actors have had a background in being in the service industry and working in a restaurant as a waiter or something like that, right?
No shame in that.
You know, a flexible schedule giving you opportunities to go on auditions and things like that because you could switch a shift with someone, right? Great. There's nothing wrong with that because yes, it is a roller coaster ride. But like any art, even if you're using that as business, I said short, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know you.
But if you're following that and you work hard at doing that, hopefully you'll also find some joy in even just getting up to bat.
Right.
You know,
You might have heard there's a strike going on right now, an actor's strike, writer's strike.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, seriously, it's even in the city.
Really?
Oh, for sure. And 1% of the SAG members, this is the acting guild, actually make their full living off of acting. 99% of them don't support themselves on it,
No.
right?
Yeah.
So that's reality, pal. And I was lucky enough, when I started my acting training, I was very, very young, right? And I was so fortunate that one of the teachers said, if you want to make money, don't pursue acting. right? You should not expect that. Yes, that can happen, but don't expect that. Another person would tell you, whatever the creative path may be, whether it's writing or painting or poetry or whatever, if you can do anything else with your life, do that. But you do it because you must, right? And creativity is its own reward. If you are in a position where you are eventually making money, yes, know your worth, yes, get representation, yes, fight for everything you can in your contract, absolutely. But you should not expect yourself to necessarily be able to buy a mansion by singing a song, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't make the song less beautiful. That doesn't make your creativity less relevant.
And if you listen to our conversations that we've had on our show, so I've had day jobs. I've run recording studios. I was a tennis pro. I cleaned pools. I worked in I worked in a plant nursery. I always found a job that paid my rent while I pursued the things that I love. So there's a balance.
That's
you
right.
can still have a balance. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It can be both.
That's right.
But you've got to not put the pressure on the art.
And it's a blend of things. It's not like once you get successful, you'll always stay that way. I mean, monetarily. So just understand. It's
And
a give and
honestly, if
take.
that's your passion and that you want to be an actor, you want to be a voice actor, then please try it.
This is the what if thing. How miserable would you be if you never gave yourself a chance?
Right?
How many people would miss out on the beauty you have to offer?
Yeah. All right?
That's tremendous advice. Thank you guys so much and have a blessed day.
You
Good luck.
too.
Good luck.
So it is 3:30.
Oh, all right.
Let's get
Let's
these four.
just a few more.
We got four.
Let's
Yep.
quickly answer the question.
Hey,
Hi.
hey, Brooke, how you doing?
Doing good. So going back into the voice acting and stuff,
Yeah.
how many hours do you guys have to practice voice acting? And also, does it sometimes take a strain out of your voice, especially you, Dan, whenever you say, Exodia, obliterate!
Hey, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Well, you're going to come in and sub for me when I need it, all right? So, I think whenever you're pursuing a creative discipline of any kind, it's really hard to count the hours that you're working on it because some of it is active performance. A lot of it is it's working on inside of you before you get to that performance. So it's really hard to say. But I would say in general, you want to learn. I was saying this earlier. There's talent and skill. Can't teach talent, can teach skill. And you are going to compete with people who have both and experience and connections. So if you want to compete, you have to understand what the playing field is, right? I don't say that to discourage anyone, quite the opposite. That's just what that's about. So work at it, right? And you will be engaged and rewarded by just seeing yourself progress, right? That's exciting whether or not you have an audience cheering you on.
Yeah. Thank you both so much.
You
and have a
got
blessed day.
You too. Thank you. Somebody want to lower that mic, please?
Just jump up for each word.
Thank you.
My name is...
There you go.
What do you like more, Yu-Yo or Knuckles?
That is so hard for me to answer. Okay, I've been asked this kind of question before. I am so fortunate to have been a part of shows that have been well received. And I really am blown away by that. But when you're an actor, you're supposed to love every character that you portray, even if they're villains, right? Because you have to do your good job being who they are. When it comes to Knuckles or Yu-Gi-Oh, I break it down like this. If it hadn't been for Yu-Gi-Oh, I wouldn't have met some of the best people in my life ever. Which includes, I wouldn't have met the woman that I married. I wouldn't have the children that I have today. So, I gotta give it up to Yu-Gi-Oh.
Good answer.
Good question.
Somebody raise that mic now. Somebody dance a jig.
This is for Dan Green.
All right.
What's the most iconic quote that you played us in Knuckles DK?
Most iconic quote. That's interesting because when I was doing this stuff, I was just trying not to get fired. So I wasn't thinking like anything would become iconic. What I've learned is that it is from you guys. And what I think some of the iconic moments, as I understand it, are shut up and are you crazy? So those are memes. But Knuckles, I'm a comic book guy. So for me, Knuckles is kind of like the Wolverine of that group. You know what I mean? He's a dangerous good guy. Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Good question.
You got it, buddy.
Last question.
do you remember that one PSA where Yuki said that smoking marijuana cannot improve his game?
Yes.
Yes, I think I've also seen that float around on YouTube. So I do not want to disagree with Yugi. So, I'm not good at playing the game. So I would say trust that advice. I certainly wouldn't suggest getting high if you're going to try to compete at a YCS.
Though Kaiba Corp has just opened a bunch of dispensaries.
Unique opium is like the Egyptian tradition that you might have done recreationally or to improve his
Wait,
game.
haven't you seen his hair?
Where does that come from? I would never condone the abuse of any substance that would destroy it.
Yeah. Good questions.
Thank you.
You got it.
All right, this
All right,
is
this
actually
is
the
it.
last question.
No pressure.
So, I was wondering, like, I guess Dan kind of those lines, what's it like hearing certain lines, like, that get left or there's like the Exodia thing, and one of these good lines where it says, shut up and everything.
Right. So your question is, what's it like hearing those back?
Yeah, because those are like popular lines also remixed over too. It tends to overlap with memes.
So for me, it's like being part of something that people are having fun with. I don't take any personal responsibility for it. Any good actor will tell you that they're only part of the performance that you see and attribute to them. There has to be the writing. There has to be the direction. There has to be the creation of the characters. We're a very important part, but we are a part, right? And so if it's caught on in a certain way, I think it's fun. But I don't go like, ha ha, only I could have created that meme. No.
And it is funny what lines become favorites.
It really is.
I mean, I'll just use my trusted frying pan as a drying pan as the Shakespeare in Pokemon. And it's like, who would have known? But yeah, I mean, it's great that you guys know that.
There's something about a third-rate duelist that you like to
Yeah,
play.
the third-rate duelist one. I mean, I do. Like, it's great. But we really enjoy when you guys know that stuff.
And some quotes I think you can live by. Again, I mentioned I'm a comic book fan. Like, with great power comes great responsibility. That's just the truth.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. But another one, as a closing thought, as we are over time, believe in yourself and you will always prevail.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Do you